Hey everyone, welcome back to another industry deep dive with us at Flyability. Today we're going to be talking about drones in nuclear. What does drones in nuclear mean to us? We mean using drones in the nuclear industry, whether in nuclear waste management or nuclear energy, to try and improve safety practices and get into the details of the complicated inspections. Over the course of this video, we're going to be going through some examples like case studies, also some industry background, and we'll talk about what the real benefits are for drones in the nuclear industry. The nuclear industry faces unique challenges that no other one does: radiation safety. It's incredibly difficult to manage the exposure of people while also trying to get critical data or make sure that you're taking care of assets properly. This is where protective equipment comes in. In some cases, like you've seen on TV, people are using specially protective equipment that can help keep them safe and reduce their exposure to radiation. But there are still limits on how much exposure a person can have per year and in the environment. This is where we get into drones for nuclear inspections. Drones offer a way to do remote inspections, so that means getting into the space but without any people actually being involved. The drones can be used to gather anything from visual information to, say, LiDAR scans, or even collecting radiation dosimeter information. This is great because it helps us get that information that we need, but we're not putting anyone at risk. Before we dive into the case studies, let's go over a really important concept: ALARA, A-L-A-R-A. This means as low as reasonably achievable, and this is the concept that a lot of nuclear facilities will enact in order to try and reduce exposure. The idea is you need to minimize exposure as much as possible, but accept that sometimes it's not possible to completely remove it. However, by reducing the chances of it, you keep your team safe and you just reduce overall risks that are available. So, how do we enact ALARA? Well, one way, as we've mentioned, is drones. This is an old prototype of a drone, but many drones like this, such as the Elios 3, can work in confined spaces where they're able to go around and gather the data we need, even if it's indoors. This means you can use them inside nuclear assets or even in waste management sites and get the data safely without fear that the drone's going to crash and fall out of the air. A lot of places are now using this technology to try and create safer inspection methods without putting people at risk. The first example of a case study comes from Europe. Vattenfall, a major European energy provider, was using the Elios 3 at a decommissioned nuclear power plant. They were looking at a no-go zone within a staircase, and they wanted to inspect that space so they could plan the clearance and maintenance process around it. With traditional methods, you would typically be using scaffolding and really complicated work schedules to ensure they could build the scaffolding while also keeping staff exposure very low. Instead, the team at Vattenfall used the Elios 3 and its LiDAR payload. Together, they got 3D models of the space that gave them a clear understanding of the layout, and then they could plan how to do the maintenance work. This meant they got to a zone that was previously inaccessible, but they didn't put any staff at risk. In a similar mission, the Elios 3 was deployed by the Department of Energy in the USA. They wanted to map an irradiated storage vault. The project, which was done in partnership with the Idaho Environmental Coalition, was aiming to get a 3D map of the interior of an underground storage vault. The vault had nuclear waste within it and was originally built in the 1960s. Since then, it has been nearly inaccessible. In just one 7-minute flight with the Elios 3, they were able to gather enough LiDAR data to 3D map the vault interior. This was a huge project and took a year of preparation and research. It was a major success as there was no other feasible way to safely access the vault. We've actually created a video that tells you all about that project. You can check it out on our channel. These are just 2 case studies, but we have plenty more on our website and on our YouTube channel, so if you're interested in learning more, look at the links below and we'll get you some more information. I've been talking about the Elios 3 drone, but it's actually better to show you. So this is the E3. It's got a 4K camera on the front and a LiDAR scanner on the back. And in the nuclear sector, people also add on a radiation dosimeter, or a RAD, to help them measure radiation levels inside a contaminated environment. The reality is that drones in the nuclear industry are a major factor. They're helping bring safer inspections while still gathering the critical data that we need. They're reducing confined space work, they're reducing exposure to radiation, and also speeding up the overall inspection efficiency. If you want to learn more about nuclear drones, and in general the way that confined space drones can work in multiple industries, make sure to check out our YouTube channel and our website to learn more. See you in the next Industry Deep Dive.